Well, this hunt for Sean turned out to be a punchline. Walter reluctantly dialed Cheryl's number, spilling his ridiculous experiences to his surprise, she seemed to be totally into his stories, like a little puppy that wouldn't stop asking questions on the phone. Suddenly, they chatted animatedly, even sharing childhood tales, deepening their mutual understanding before hanging up happily. Walter boarded his return flight, elated, but upon arrival at the company, his manager pounced like a hungry lion, demanding the negatives at once. Walter tried to explain he lacked the negatives, but the manager turned deaf, ignoring him. For everyone, the manager bluntly announced his dismissal. Colleagues briefly comforted Walter, noticing his school skateboard, which he said was a gift for Cheryl's child. His colleagues said Cheryl was gone, kicked out when the live list came out yesterday. With that news, Walter dashed to Cheryl's place, only to find a stranger answering the door. Walter hesitated at first, but upon hearing the stranger call out, he realized he was not welcome here, leaving the skateboard quietly at the doorstep. Without a word, he quietly turned and left, returning home feeling defeated, only to be greeted by his sister demanding he pay. They finally managed to haul Mom's piano back from the nursing home, and Walter emptied his savings for the movers, tossing Sean's wallet straight into the trash. Walter felt a pang of resentment toward Sean. If he hadn't forgotten the 25th negative, Walter might not be in this mess. Suddenly, he noticed that Sean's photos were shockingly identical to Mom's piano, even the dents matched perfectly. Walter quickly asked Mom about the whole story, only to find out she had taken the photo with Sean's camera. Turns out, a week ago, Sean had visited her at the nursing home, gabbing about Walter, and even asking for loads of little orange cake. He said once he finished shooting volcanoes in Iceland, had head to the Himalayas to photograph snow leopards, sweet-talking local warlords with cake. What a cake guy. Although Walter unexpectedly found out about Sean's upcoming filming location, having already been fired, he had no plans to keep searching for Sean. However, his mother informed him that he had fulfilled his duty. After hearing his mom, Walter realized after 16 years as partners, they shouldn't leave any regrets on their final work, and he decided he took out a travel backpack, a gift from his dad at 17, but sadly he never used it. But starting today, this backpack finally found its purpose as he arrived at the foothills of the Himalayas. The guides performed a blessing ceremony. Walter mimicked Sean's style, trading cake with a local warlord for a permit to enter the mountains. After warming up, the guide led Walter up the mountain, offering him local snacks. At 6,000 meters, Walter felt as dizzy as if drunk. Ahead lay an even longer road. To find Sean, he must grit his teeth and press on until he finally arrived at a totem site. The guide said their task was done. Walter had to proceed alone. After their farewell, he walked solo atop the world for the first time. In this magnificent range, every peak is a carved masterpiece, revealing nature's wonders. Just as Walter was lost in this beauty, his phone rang at the worst possible moment. It was a call from a dating site manager, informing Walter that since he filled out details about skydiving and wrestling with sharks, his profile was fully complete. They believed many singles would soon be eager to meet him, but Walter was totally unfazed. After all, his sole intention had been Cheryl. But before they could chat more, a familiar voice called up from behind, causing Walter to hastily hang up. The man before him was none other than Sean, the very person Walter had trekked so far to find. Walter explained he wanted to figure out the mystery of the 25th negative. However, Sean revealed that he had actually given him the negatives long ago, and it wasn't until now that Walter realized the 25th negative was a fancy wallet was just a prop for the negatives. Walter was stunned on learning the truth. The negatives had been with him all along. Worse still, he threw it in the trash. Walter was annoyed Sean treated such an important item as a toy. Sean urged him to quickly check the camera as the long-awaited snow leopard appeared. Sean watched the snow leopard closely but didn't press the shutter. Walter wondered, with such a chance, why not snap it? Sean explained that, although the world may never be short of beautiful photographs, moments like these could disappear in the blink of an eye. As the snow leopard vanished, he got up to join his buddies for a game of soccer. Walter wanted to know what the 25th negative had captured, but Sean only told him it was a photo too beautiful for words. He slung his bag and set off home. Mom sold Dad's gifted piano, earning a good sum to ease Walter's stress. She told Walter to keep the check safe, but he said he didn't have a wallet. Just then, Mom pulled out a wallet. It was his discarded one. Talk about egg on your face. After much searching, Walter found the 25th negative and gave it to the interim manager, troubled by love issues. However, he didn't request to return to work. After everything, he felt losing his job wasn't as dreadful as had imagined, more like a minor subplot in life. After all, his job hunting resume could only be described as colourful. On the day he returned to collect his severance, Walter saw Cheryl again. He hesitated, then approached her. Cheryl asked why he vanished. Walter answered promptly. Walter openly declared his love for Cheryl, meeting her ex at her home that day. Cheryl took the opportunity to explain that her ex had simply come to fix the fridge, and just like that, the misunderstandings evaporated, leaving them both elated. They collaborated on a show for some time, and today was the magazine's publication day. Both were curious about what the final cover. The first thing that greeted their eyes was a slogan saying, "To the ones who made this magazine possible," as their gaze slowly shifted. Both felt a jolt in their hearts as they realized that Sean's so-called perfect piece was actually a depiction of Walter's hard work. And Cheryl asked Walter about buying a magazine, but he chose to stay low-key and buy it later. Then they smiled knowingly. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to my channel.